What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of BKNY Hoops. If you're new to the channel, I am your host, as always, Rashid White. All right, let's get into it. You guys actually see the graphics. You see the title there. Brooklyn Nets reportedly interested in the sign and trade for Isaac Okoro. And my opinion on this, let's get the deal done. So I wonder what's going to happen with Cam Thomas over here because if you look at Isaiah Okoro, I mean, it's definitely really what the Nets really pretty much need. What I've been calling for the last year is to actually get some athletic guys that plays above the rim, plays hard, physical, runs the floor. Now, he's not the best in terms of like in a half court situation, in terms of like shot creation. Not the best. He's still a work in progress there, but we need guys like that, like this, that's physical, athletic, that plays above the rim. We have to match up to what the current, like currently what the NBA really actually has out there. So Carl R, he's definitely says, yeah, he's all for it. Tribal Chief is saying yes, and he's giving like some a hands up or a thumbs up over here, man. Let's get into the article over here. Let's see. Hold on, let me get this up over here. Here we go, right here. All right. So it says it over here. Cavs forward Isaac Okoro linked to the Nets in a possible trade. So the biggest remaining offseason in the Cleveland Cavaliers is how they will handle Isaac Okoro's restricted free agency. They reportedly offered Okoro a multi-year contract below the mid-level exception in the $8 to $10 million range annually. But then, if you look at the actual scouting report over here from him, there's a couple of boxes that he doesn't check in terms of his um right over here. So he's still a work in progress when it comes to his skill level offensively. More effective, like the closer he is to the rim, and shot below 28% from three, and from the from the three this season. So that's not really great for a two guard. If you don't play the shooting guard, or even like a small forward, you want to probably get up to for a small forward, I would say 33 to 34%. Shooting guard, 38, 39% from three. There's actually power forwards that actually really shoot the three ball really, really good. So I can understand why they would offer him this, $8 to $10 million range when he's actually really a work in progress right there. I say more like when you look at the shooting percentages, a guy that can actually pretty come off the bench, and it's actually pretty much a player that we actually really need because it'll help us actually lose more games if you actually put him in the starting lineup because teams are going to read the same scouting report I just did and say, hey, we're going to just sag off this guy and let him actually beat us from the 3-point line. So all right, this isn't a new rumor. Dorian, Finney-Smith, and Cam Johnson have been linked to the Cavs throughout the summer. It will, however, likely continue to be one of Okoro's situation is resolved. So I don't know. They're talking about DFS or Cam Johnson for Okoro. Now, I know how you guys actually feel about Cam Johnson, but he can't shoot. His reputation is 38, 39% from the 3-point line. And when you when you get into like next year's draft, if you get a Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey or whoever, like one of these high-end draft picks over here, I mean, you want some spacing around these guys too, so they don't have to be, playing in a crowd. So staying under the luxury tax seems to be the priority for the Cavs. They currently sit $9.7 million under the line with 12 players. So it says over here the Nets are currently over the luxury tax line at only $5 million away from the first apron. They may not have the appetite to facilitate a move that could possibly add additional money to their books, considering they're in a rebuilding phase. But then, all right, so yes, if they do go over the luxury tax line a little bit, that's not bad because I think a player like this, that can actually play defense and that can actually run the floor, you got to think somewhat three-dimensionally over here. So yeah, it says the Cavs successfully convinced Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley to sign extensions. All right, so this is more like a Cleveland Cleveland type of thing over here. Let me get the link in the description. Anybody want to join into the conversation, into the chat, wants to call in, is more than welcome to do so over here. Let's get this in. I'm surprised Jonathan is not over here, man. He's always up for this. He's the one that actually told me about this over here, man. So we're gonna hit a couple of other Nets news over here. There was an article I was looking at about the Nets dynamic duo and a twin towers, pretty much, of Nick Claxton and what's his name, man? Noah Clowney, and how that can actually be impactful. So let me get to that article right here. And I guess it's a slow news cycle for these guys. So hold on, let me get this article up. Let's see. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of media pundits actually convinced that this can actually really work. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. So the Nets actually have hold on. All right, Nets have a dynamic big man duo in development. So, all right. I mean, what do you guys actually think about this over here? Can Claxton and Noah Clowney really kind of lead this team into a playoff seeding right here? I don't know. All right, so when the Nets took Clowney with the 21st overall pick in 2023, the NBA draft, some thought that that would spell the end of Claxton's tenure in Brooklyn, with him entering a contract year. In the modern NBA, two big alignments are almost unheard of, as floor spacing is key. Yeah, something I've been saying for the longest. All right, so some, on the other hand, believe Clowney could develop enough skill from beyond the arc. The two big men could play alongside each other. And it goes into how the Nets' two bigs fit next to each other offensively. All right, so for people actually coming in, I was just I got into the actual Isaac Okoro trade. I'll touch back on that in a minute as more people actually get in here, man. The show must actually go on. All right, so how do I actually feel about this? There's, in order for, like, Clowney right now, I think he shot 28% from three in college. Now there is a sample size of him actually doing this in the actual NBA, like you saw in the G League. So we got to see a larger sample size of him actually hitting threes. And Claxton's offense, I mean, he's shown it in college. He's shown some ability in college, but it's, like, when it comes to the NBA, like, can you actually really be efficient? From what I've seen, and I did positive videos on Nick Claxton. I don't want you guys thinking like, yo, BK, you hating. When Jared Allen left, I think I did 3 videos on Nick Claxton saying, hey, listen, don't worry, we have Clax. But as you watch him more and more, and especially like last season when there are no stars next to him, there's no reason to really kind of double team him. I wish he could shoot, man. I'm just praying that Claxton can actually shoot. I really hope that he really like puts up like 1,000 shots a day, because that will actually draw like guys like Joel Embiid out. I mean, he's not going to be able to stop those guys in the interior, but if he can actually develop a really consistent 3-point shot, yeah, that would like big guys like 260, like Embiid. You see him like, struggling right now to actually get out there on the perimeter and guard. I mean, big guys don't want to actually guard the perimeter, man. So he can actually cause a lot of matchup issues, on offense if he can actually really shoot, and then, he can actually put the ball on the floor, and it's just, I just hope he actually does it, So some people saying that, oh, hold on, we got Oren in here, man. Oren, what's going on, man?
What's up, BK?
How you doing?
Came to give my opinion on the Isaac Okoro idea.
All right, let's have it, man. What do you actually think, man? What do you think for Cam Thomas over here, man? I mean, what's the future on him?
CT, Cam Thomas is gonna bring up his value this upcoming season, and that's going to be the most service he's going to give to us, bringing up his value. I think that's eventually, it's going to be the end of Cam Thomas soon, like in a year or two, I believe. But Isaac Okoro is an interesting question, more interesting question, I think, because it brings to mind, like, everybody wants to trade CJ and DFS for more picks, but we actually have a lot of them, and there's a limit to how many players you can actually develop at a time. I would say, like, we're going to draft 4 players next draft class. That's insane. And a lot of people are saying, let's package 3 and move up. Well, not many teams are going to want to move off their high slots, even if you give them 3 picks later on in the same class. So in my opinion, now that we have our own picks, the Nets picks, the ones that we will never trade away again, we should be a lot more flexible with the other ones that we have obtained and try to get more talent on board today. Isaac Okoro is a good trade, even though we don't get any picks in return. If we can turn DFS into a younger version of himself, it's a good deal, in my opinion. And I would even be willing to send 3 picks, like the Knicks, Bucks, and Suns pick. And it's an idea that I've been running around to the Golden State Warriors for Jonathan Kuminga, so they can go in return and pursue Lauri Markkanen from the Utah Jazz. I would love to see a Kuminga on our team today, like now, not in a year, but now.
I'm loving the moves that Sean Marks is actually really making. I mean, I don't know if he listens to this show. I'm saying getting more athletic, man, getting bigger and more athletic.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think he's not done. I think we're truly not done, because I don't think Sean is planning to go with this roster.
Yeah, and I want to actually touch on the point of what you were saying about developing so many players at one time, especially like young guys. And you look at this draft over here. Let's go down to where the Nets are supposed to pick at, like in the 20s over here. So they have Dame Sarr that they actually projected to pick, Kwame Evans Jr. So I'm trying to, and they actually really kind of show what they're supposed to be. Terrence Clark. It's supposed to be a deep draft. They probably could move up. When you think about it, Isaiah Okoro is actually really, when you look at these guys that the Nets are probably trying to pick over here. I mean, this guy's 6'6", from Italy. Oh, okay, hold on. Maybe these European players know how to play though. And so what do you think though, man? So you thinking like Isaiah Okoro though? Yeah, definitely, right? Yeah,
an Okoro for DFS would be a good fair deal, but if we had to send picks to get Okoro, I would not want to do it. Like, I wouldn't send a pick for But if a DFS for Okoro deal came to the door, I would say, yeah, that's fine. I don't need to get a pick back for DFS. Getting an equivalent young player with defensive ability is fine. You can't find a team with a bunch of 19-year-olds, because then everybody's trying to prove the same things. Everybody's trying to get the same goals. Like, you need to have a mix-up of
role players, guys who doesn't need the basketball, right? Not guys who aren't so ball-centric. Yeah.
So this whole idea that like every single move we're going to make from now on is going to be to tear it up further and get more picks. At some point, we've got to put a stop to it. Like, we got to put a stop to like CJ. I wouldn't trade him for picks. I would trade him and picks for something. Like, I would trade him upwards, not downwards, not to tear him up, but to get something better. Like, I would do CJ plus 2 picks for Jonathan Kuminga. I wouldn't trade CJ to get the Lakers 20. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't. Like, I don't need more first-round picks in 2026 late in the lottery. Late in the draft. It doesn't serve us. We have too many. We can't develop 20 players at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, you have like Cam Johnson is a proven like knockdown shooter. I would like to see if he has like one of these top draft picks. If you get like an Edgecombe over here, if you get guys that can actually really attract so much attention to them, like Cam Johnson should be wide open rather than taking like contested shots, because that's what's going to happen. I mean, next year if CJ's on the team, who on this team you really like who can get downhill like that, like a Ja Morant, and like
that's a good point, PK.
Yeah.
CJ has great value as forget about him being a second option. He will never be a second option, but he has good value as a catch and shooter that is maybe very hard to find otherwise anywhere. It's just very hard to find these type of players.
All right, so let me let SL go. What do you think for the rush comes in? What do you think, SL?
I guess
What's
I
going
just
on?
heard
So,
Jonathan Kaminga and I'm losing my head over here. I'm losing my mind, man. Giving up draft capital for Jonathan Kaminga. My man, Oren, we agree on a lot of
Because we have
things, right?
excess. Because we have excess. But go ahead,
Listen,
tell me.
Oren, we tanking, we're about to lose 60, 70 games for two guys named Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey. You
We're
want to
gonna
put
get.
Jonathan, you want to give up draft capital for a player that not moving a needle, and the guy we going after is gonna play the same position.
I think
Make it
Jonathan
make
Kaminga
sense.
so doesn't move the needle. He so doesn't move the needle that we will still lose just as many games with Jonathan Kaminga on the roster, and thus
Exactly. So why we're losing draft capital and giving up
because you're
salary,
getting another
and
asset.
we'll be
Adar.
forced to pay him too, man. Come on.
Yes, about the payment, I agree with you. I never thought about that, Adar. I thought about it later. You're right. We would have to pay him. But other than that, he wouldn't get you a lot more wins. You would still be in the high lottery, but you
You
would
know
have another asset to
you
develop.
know he wants $180, right? He wants 180 mil.
Yeah, he's delusional. I don't think the market will give him that because the market is now thinning out on everybody. Brandon Ingram, like the market is changing. No more handouts. No more handouts. And the Nets are included. We're not giving a handout. But if you can get a Jonathan Kaminga for 3 late round picks, you do it. You have to do it because it diversifies the way you're doing your rebuild. Jonathan Kaminga is 21, Adar. He's not 24. He's 21. And he's averaging
Who
16
cares?
a game.
We're putting ourselves in a position. We're giving up a couple picks, first round picks. That put Sean Marks in a hot seat in a
How
situation
many
where he's
first round picks can we possibly
selling
develop?
the fan base and everybody else talking about, listen, I'm going to pay this guy and he's going to be the future.
well,
Listen,
listen, draft picks SL is still an unknown. I mean, like a lot of these guys have a really good probability of being bust.
you're not understanding what I'm saying. The whole thing about it, draft capital can be used as trade value. The same thing we just did with Knicks
Yeah,
did
that's
with
a fair
Mikal
point.
Bridges.
So,
They gave up a whole bunch of draft capital to get the player.
yeah,
And in
you're
the
saying
future,
SL
this
that
draft
we should
capital,
keep it, yeah, and then trade it for
no,
something even
of
bigger.
course. And if we want Jonathan Kaminga, he will be free agent next year. They got, of course, qualifying offer. They can match anything, but then we'll be sending poison pill contract the same we did with Tyler
Right,
Johnson with
right. Okay,
Miami.
fine.
So what?
Yeah,
So there's no point. Isaac
I
Okoro, I can
received my
understand that.
argument. BK, I lose
Isaac,
to SL. He beat me. I concede my argument. I agree with SL. We should wait a summer until we do anything like this. I concede.
and the next
You
year we're
won.
gonna have we're gonna have what, close to 95 mil in salary cap. We can do a lot of stuff. That
Okay, no,
salary,
you win.
that cap space, we can use that as a weapon going versus any other team. The teams go, we
I
did
was
not
thinking we could
necessarily
start
have.
developing him
No, I'm
today.
just
We
trying.
could
I'm
develop
not
him
saying
today, like you know.
your preposition is pretty good, but the whole thing about it, it's. I mean, right now it doesn't make sense because we're not in a position like we need to find out who we're drafting. If we're gonna
For
slide to
CJ and a pick,
four and
not 3
five,
picks. Would you do it if
don't
the price
matter
was
any
much
pick. I'm
lower?
not giving them. I'm not
Oh,
giving
okay.
them nothing. Not
Yeah,
even second round pick. I'm not giving them nothing.
okay. I think
They
for
will
CJ
give
and a
me
pick,
something
it's a
back to
good one.
drop to.
Yeah.
Nah, they right now they still in the luxury tax, and they repeaters. So
Yeah,
right
that's true.
now, in order to go under tax threshold, they're gonna have to send some assets, and in order to do that, they're gonna have to lose some draft capital alone. That's the only way I'm gonna take Jonathan Kaminga as a sweetener or whatever it is. That's the only way I'm doing it. And then we're under the pressure to see, not that much pressure, but we're still under pressure, like what we doing with this kid, because we took him right now. So for us, if
No, it's
so
fine. There's
for
enough
us,
room for Cooper and Kaminga. Yeah, that's not the issue. But I agree with you with everything else you said. That the move is to not
the
do
whole thing
anything.
about it, we just drafted a kid and we just extended him, who became a summer league MVP, who shot 50 something percent from three, who understands his role right now.
Peja
He's mad
Siakam.
comfortable in Jalen Wilson, who can either start as a role player or come off the bench, and he's dirt cheap. 3 mil? We're paying him 3 mil. That's nothing in NBA. Right now, 3 mil is nothing, and we got 2 more years of it. We gotta give this kid some burn. We also got this guy who's a stat filler in Trenton Watford. In
Yeah, but SL, let me stop you for a second.
only
Yeah,
other guy.
Watford, we only seen a limited sample size. We didn't see him play like 35 minutes. We seen him play sparingly.
We got the whole year to see what he can do this year.
All right,
On the Georgia,
Actually,
go ahead, finish up.
SL was impressive. SL, I really thought I had this whole thing figured out. But you know what? Now that I listen to you, I think you're right. We should.
Now with Isaac Okoro, it makes sense because he asking they asking for the mid-level exception because there's no market for him right now, and he's being used as a salary dump right now to get what's his name?
It looks like he actually wants more money. I mean, I think let me see something over here. From what I was reading, it says he probably wants more. They offered him like I think $8 to $10 million, and that may not be enough.
Well, mid-level exception is close to 15 mil, so that's gonna be right there.
Yeah,
2-3 mil. They ain't gonna for what's his name tax team like Cavs. That hurts them. Team that under salary cap like us, we don't care about that. We'll give them 15, 2-3 mil and make it.
It's also talking about in the article here that they may have to add more players for Okoro just to make the deal work here. I guess. Another player.
Nah, it works straight up. We can send them DFS, and they can send us 2 second-round picks and Isaac Okoro. It works straight up.
All right.
Wait, would you do it if they're not sending back any second-round picks? SL, would you still do it 1-for-1?
That's second round picks.
What's going on, man?
Yeah. Second round picks right now, they're important. So yeah, I'm gonna need something back.
I think that's why the deal is not going through. By the way, I think Sean Marks is where
exactly
SL stands. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're actually we're asking for that 2031 draft pick, but they're not willing to give. We asked for 2 second rounders. They're talking about only 1, but they really want DFS since last trade deadline. They really want it, and Sacramento really want Cam Johnson. Like San Antonio got into it too. They calling asking for Cam Johnson. I mean, teams get desperate during the regular season. Right now, everybody feel like this player, that player can come up and make a difference until actual basketball games started to happen, and they ain't shit.
About Cam Johnson, man. What do you think his value? Do you actually think he still has value to this Nets team?
His contract is the best value. His contract is the best value we got. At 20 mil that we got him for.
Yeah.
His contract considers to be a bargain around the league. And if we're looking at the salary cap and where the tax threshold starts for the next 2 years, that contract is pretty much like 2.5-3%. I'm sorry, 5%. 5% for the player like Cam Johnson who can shoot threes at 40%. You give up for that. You give up something. That's why teams call him.
So a lot of Nets fans want him off the team, man. They think Cam Johnson.
Well, a lot of Nets fans want him off the team because they want to see Noah Clowney and what's his name, Trenton Watford play those minutes.
Come on, man. I like Noah Clowney.
We know what Cam Johnson is. If he's not playing alongside Wemby, Luka, Booker, KD, he ain't shit.
Well, you can say the same thing with Noah Clowney. He's going to need a lot of guys, like a player that can actually take.
We ain't know who Noah Clowney is, BK. We don't know. We don't.
Oh no, I agree.
We can't. We know he can slash. He can make occasional 3-point shots, and he's solid on defense. We have to see it on a regular, consistent basis throughout the season, like how he goes versus players like Mobley, Banchero, like who else is over there? Randall.
Yeah.
Guys like that. We got to see where we at with Clowney. That's why people want Cam Johnson out of the team and see where we stand with Clowney. This year we're tanking anyway. The more we lose, the more we win.
Yeah. That's true. I agree. But I mean, My thing is, I don't want them to get rid of every single veteran, man, because I don't
Yeah,
want it
but
to look like the
BK,
Portland
here's
Trailblazers.
the thing with Cam Johnson, why we shouldn't be forced to move him right now. With this new collective bargaining agreement, you have to fill up 85% of your salary cap. Otherwise, you're under the penalties. They're
Ninety
gonna
percent,
go
90%,
through
90%.
90%. Oh, okay, so 90% of the cap have to go. Otherwise, we're sending the penalties to the league, and they spread it out around the teams. So there goes that.
We got three projected late round picks next year that are losing some of their value with each day passing because once these picks are selected and turned into players, it's not going to have nearly as much value. We have three of them: the Bucks,
Excellent
the
point. That's a
Suns.
good point.
Okay,
It's
the
actually
Bucks,
two.
the Suns. Okay, we have to determine from between now and the deadline what do we want to do with these three picks because we can't possibly draft four players and give all these players minutes. So I agree that it shouldn't be Kaminga. Maybe I understand. But I think the question is still there. Like, we're not going to draft four players and give all these four players developmental minutes and attention. So, like,
I
what do we do with these three
Well, you
picks if
probably
nobody
could.
wants
It's just
to?
that you have current players that you have to get rid of, man. You may have to get rid of a Cam Thomas. You know,
it,
you have to get rid of a
no,
Claxton.
no, you don't have to get rid of nobody. Not Kim Thomas, no Claxton. You don't have to do nothing.
So, what do you do? So,
Spending
how?
fat.
What's the smartest, most squeezy thing to do to obtain the most value out of these three consecutive late rounders that we're going to have next year before
First
they
of
lose
all,
their
we have to.
value?
First
Like,
of all, we have to see where they aim. Okay, I'll give you OKC and Knicks. They most probably gonna end up in a high. I mean, in late 20s, like 25 and up. They're gonna end up there for sure. With Milwaukee, they top heavy. Right now, if Giannis injury reports about his calf and all that is legit, can he hold on 82 games? Dame is 36, 35, right? Going to year 36.
Yep.
What's going on with Dame? Chris Middleton, not an Iron Man. We know he missed a lot of games past 2 years. What's going on over there? Brook Lopez, 36 years old, last year of his contract. He ain't gonna get you more wins. Bobby Portis, same thing. They top heavy. You go down the list. Rest of them G leaguers they put up on that team. I mean, they can put my name over there and I'll be sitting on the bench. I can put up a couple 10 points if they give me like 10, 15 shots playing next to Giannis. I'll make a couple of wide open shots. Difference is how many games Giannis gonna play. With Giannis, they're gonna be a 15-win team. If he's gonna put up like 70 games like last year, they're gonna be a 15-win team. But if Giannis is gonna miss 15 to 20 games, they can easily end up and play. The way Eastern Conference looking right now, I'm looking at Josh Giddey. Everybody's sleeping on Bulls, in my opinion, because Kobe White, that other kid, what's his name? Keep forgetting his name.
Yeah, Josh Giddey looked
Patrick
really
Williams.
good in that
yeah, but
scrimmage,
that's
though.
why we
Nah,
got to trade these
he's
picks now because now you
Patrick
can
Williams
speculate.
nah.
about
Okay,
Dale.
maybe the Bucks will suck
See,
this year. Once the Bucks
see,
turn
there's
and
another thing we can do with
actually
these
win
draft picks,
games,
No, you
like
talking about
Fernand
Bucelis.
did
You talking about
this year,
Bucelis.
I
like
think you got
Fernand
to
did
trade
this
these
year.
picks now because now they're
Bazilis too. He's
speculative.
nice. He,
Now this
actually,
Bucks pick,
Bazilis probably can end up
Bro,
being best player in this. What's his name? Kim Red Shepherd. I'm not sure
so
about Zach
So let's
Edey.
exactly
look at.
because of
Hold
your
on.
argument.
Let's look at the picks, that late first round picks. Let me see something here. Where is it? All right. So the late first round
Exactly because
pick.
of what you said. Like, I'm sorry, I'll shut
This
up.
is a mock. So this is a mock draft. The one that stands out for me is this guy over here, Carter Bryant. They have him linked to, like, I mean, his they look at him as another like T.J. Warren type player, Sadiq Bey. Let me
which
look it
pick
up.
we using for that one though? Which pick we using for him? The
It's the
Bucks
Bucks
pick?
pick. Yeah.
They got the Bucks at. Hmm.
I
What?
usually use Tankaphone for that.
Where
They're more accurate with that.
do they have us projected on where we using the next pick?
They got the Suns pick over here as Dame Sar. They have him like
Uh,
no.
God, nah, hell no. BK, we are not drafting four players, bro. We are not drafting four players, bro.
No, I mean somebody may go. I mean, somebody we got. So in the future, you got to look at where these guys actually stand in terms of their skills to the current players that we actually really have. So let me look up Dame. So he
But
says Dame
using
Easy,
has a long
wait, but
wide.
easy. You saw what Sun ended this year? You
what
saw
is it?
what Sun ended this year, right? They picked Castle and they picked Rob Dillingham, right?
Yeah.
The next year draft is more loaded, and they got even like after 20s, they got several players. Like, let's say the player that everybody looking at and intrigued is Boogie Flame
Yeah.
from Arkansas. Okay, so like he's projected to go at 28 right now on Tankathon, right? And so there's I can name you several teams right now that can come up and tell you like, okay, so we can give you a pick in 2027 or 2029 for Boogie Flynn this year, and you give us this year draft pick, and we
I'm
just switch. So
I'm not
we
gonna
can
lie
do
to you.
that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Adar. A lot of
Hmm.
teams are gearing up for the 2031 draft. So I don't know what the scouts are doing, but a lot of teams are gearing up for that 2031. So that's like what 5, 6 years away from right now.
Hell yeah, that's
If you could find out which high schooler or which little kid from overseas is going crazy right now, we need to do that because a lot of teams are gearing up for 2031. So they know something that we don't know.
man. I can
Yeah.
I can do I can give you a scenario where we can end up giving two picks to Oklahoma City, for example, and get what's his name, Nikola Topic, two first round picks in a loaded draft. Let's say what's his name,
Would they want that though?
but
Would they want that though? With the draft capital that they have,
for
would they want to
yeah
first, even in the
for them.
stack draft?
See, OKC in a funny situation in the next upcoming off season and season after that, they're in a situation where they have to uh come up with the money, where they have to pay Chet, Jay Will, Kaysen, what's his name, and some other dude I'm forgetting right now, who's in their rotation. So that's three
Wait,
max
Estelle, so
deals
we
for.
agree, actually. You just don't agree on Jonathan Kaminga, but you agree that we should
Yeah, I
couple those
no,
picks and do
we
something.
always agree on a lot of stuff. It's just Jonathan Kaminga don't like it don't make financially, it don't make like a fit wise. Like, what are
But
we
you would
doing
do a
here?
Nikola Topic move or a Casey Wallace move, which
Yeah,
is
because that's a
cool.
All
position
right.
of
Hold
need.
on, hold on, hold on,
We don't
man.
have a point guard.
Listen, I think we found Cam Thomas's replacement already, man.
Oh, AK, that's a hot take. You starting some shit already, dog. You starting some shit, dog. You trying to start some shit.
Nah, BK's hot take and hate on Cam Thomas been there
Nah, listen, yo,
since I found
this
out
is
his
all about
channel.
getting better, man. Listen, I told you guys, if you go out there, you play basketball,
Oh,
and you're kicking ass, right? And another team that's bigger, longer, and stronger, they come and beat you. You go and play. You try to get better players, pretty much, man. You're not going to go back with the same team and get your ass kicked again, man.
So you
Does
gonna
this
replace Cam Thomas with a younger player?
look at this? I said, look at the athleticism. This is the guy that's being picked up at
Who's this?
Dame Dame Sar. He's an Italian player, 6'6",
Is he related
athletic.
to Alex Sarr, bro? Is he related?
I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't even heard of this dude over here. He plays in Italy though.
I mean, Sarr came from France, so
Yeah. Ooh. All right. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm saying. We got
huh.
Cam Thomas ain't doing this. All right.
passing the ball. Oh,
No.
Nah, that's BK's obsession with athleticism.
Look how long. Yeah, he's long. Yeah. Yeah, man. We got.
Yo, you want to give up a player who 10th best in the last year, put up 10th best points per minute. The only better 10 players that came before him, I can name you right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Joker, Tatum, Brown, Spider, SGA, and a couple others that I forget. But they franchise guys.
for
Wemby was number 8.
But
So you
See,
him,
SL, you're confusing about
and
Daniel.
and
Daniel, what's going on, man?
Cam Thomas is right there with Trey Young and Steph Curry on catch and shoot. You
Nah,
know
nah.
that?
Stop
Yes.
that. Stop that. Stop
Go
that. So,
on NBA.com right
the catch
now
and shoot,
and
catch and shoot.
catch and shoot threes.
No.
He shot 68% for 2 months.
But
Stat
right,
I,
News
but
had it.
so he's
And
putting
then
up.
he
All right,
dropped a little bit to 44%. That's right there next to Steph Curry and Trey Young. They
he,
both shot 46 and 45%. And Cam
yeah, but
Thomas
all
is the
right,
one.
he's
but
putting
Adol,
up good numbers on a bad team. So like I
Cam
said, if
Thomas
you
is a walking bucket. That's what I'm telling you.
yeah,
And he's
but like
talking
all
about
right
right now
on the
being
Knicks,
a facilitated playmaker.
on the Knicks SL, he doesn't even play. I mean, he doesn't come off the bench. If he was on the Knicks right now, he's not coming off the bench. He's not
What?
even in the rotation.
That's ridiculous.
That's a cap.
He doesn't play
That's
defense,
ridiculous.
man. You know how Tibbs is.
But Adol,
It couldn't matter. It doesn't matter because he has 4 other players that'll play defense.
Nah.
You listen.
Yeah, they
In
ain't
this
trying to hear all
league,
that, man.
in this league, you need scoring. Maybe he's not a starter. Like, okay, I could hear someone's argument that says he's not a starter, but he will be the elite scorer off the bench or the elite 6-man for the next 10 years if that's what he wanted.
No, SL wants him to start. He's looking at him as a franchise guy. I'm like, whoa, hold
I'm not
on,
saying
man.
he's a franchise guy. I said
Well, you
he's
compare
good
him as a
enough to be
franchise guy.
second or third wheel on a championship team, and I'm gonna stand by it because I've seen enough data just to suggest that.
I agree with you.
But Adol, you see, like, when you let me use one of your points, right? When you bring up the catch and shoot point, and he's so efficient and elite at catch and shoot, to me that lets into more of my thought process of maybe we need to get the rock out of his hands. He needs to start playing off ball. He needs to start learning how to spot up and not have the rock in his hand all the time.
Or even coming off screens,
bring
like
up the ball.
being able to come off screens and shoot the three. That's another level he needs to get to.
The whole idea that he should be a point guard is ridiculous. You don't become a point guard. You don't become a point guard at 23 years old. Like that's
It doesn't work like that.
You know what I'm saying? He is what he is, but he's elite at what he does. And you're not
Well,
gonna find
CJ McCollum became like a more playmaker once the years went on. Like SGA, same thing.
Yeah, but he was an undersized. He started his high school career as an undersized point guard. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even know he was gonna grow to be the size that he is.
I don't have a problem him being a point guard for one reason. We ain't got nobody else who can put the ball on the floor and create anything. On this roster,
we got Scotto.
Cool.
They will.
We got Dennis Schroeder, please. No.
I'm not talking about Dennis Schroeder. Like that's ridiculous. I'm talking about next year. It doesn't matter. Next year it just doesn't matter. But while you're compiling talent, you want people in their roles. He's a shooting guard. That's what he does. He's a scoring guard. He plays off ball. That's what he does.
But he actually made a great point right there. He made a really excellent point. If he's that good of a catch and shoot player, he needs to play off ball.
That elite at catch and shoot, why are you not putting him in positions where he get the rock out of his hands, and the time he gets the rock back in his hands, it's a quick shot. And we all know Cam Thomas' game at this point. He got a good to great jumper. Why are you not utilizing that right there?
The problem is, you know, what he practices is to be the next James Harden. He wants to boogie with the ball, which a coach has to grab him and be like,
this is what I'm saying. Boom, 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 boom. Like, stop with the boom, 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 boom. Just boom, boom, and that's it. Boom, boom.
Right.
That's it.
Well, listen, that's his. Hold on. That's his mindset. Like everybody has a different mindset when it comes to basketball. You know, his mindset is to be like Kobe. He wants to be that guy and take those tough shots. And I mean, that's what he fell in love with actually playing basketball. You know, so some guys don't like to do that. They like.
BK, right now there's pictures of him in the gym. There's video of him in the gym where he's scoring off of 2 dribbles. So
all right, that's what he needed to do. Yeah.
I think someone gave him the
gave him that talk. Like, yo, stop, boom, 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 boom. Like, yo, man, like, yo, we could count you, bro. They are counting you, bro. Boom, 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 boom. Shot. What the fuck, dog? Goddamn, nigga.
Yeah, and it's like I said, my thing is really more when I was watching the finals and I saw Kyrie Irving like struggle against like Jaylen Brown guarding him. Because I was like 50-50 with Cam Thomas. And I made positive videos on Cam Thomas, SL. It's not like I'm a Cam Thomas. Go check the track record. I made positive videos on Cam Thomas. I went on Brian Scalabrini's show and argued with him when he was trashing Cam Thomas. All right. So I look at him. I saw how Kyrie was struggling against like Jaylen Brown. I'm like, whoa, hold on. If Kyrie's struggling against Jaylen Brown, Cam Thomas is nowhere near that. So we need to actually get more athletic, and guys who actually has a quicker first step.
Kyrie struggled versus Jaylen Brown, not because of Jaylen Brown. One-on-one, Kyrie can cook anybody in this world.
Nah, man.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not.
Kyrie is special.
He could, but the thing is, SL, you need to be efficient.
Kyrie is alien. He's not from this world. He cooks anyone that in front of him. It's the secondary help defender that was over there and helping us.
SL, you have to be efficient. All right, you can't be taking 35 shots.
50, 40, 90. He's 50, 40, 90. You can't be more efficient than that.
Nah. Against that and that series against Dallas, I was like, it was bad, man. It was bad.
Yeah, because they designed their defense on that and they completely ignored And if bummers like PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. would have made their shots instead of chucking everything and building a brick houses, they would have won championship.
All right, but not everybody is Kyrie Irving. All right, that's what I'm trying to say, man.
But
like Dorian Finney-Smith is not going to be able to like in and out crossover. Take it to the rim, switch hands. I mean, he doesn't have that skill set. Not everybody has that skill set, SL.
But BK, your measuring stick right there is a team basically full of all NBA defensive caliber guards right there. They're all switchable. They're all big wings. So like you comparing Kyrie right there to that, bro. Like that's
even like Porzingis, like Kyrie couldn't even get past Porzingis. I was like, damn, man, he was like swatting his shot. I said, damn, man. So imagine Cam Thomas now. So we need guys that are like hyper athletic.
But you're gonna look at the defensive scheme though, they corral him into traffic though. So like
exactly.
With all,
but they have all right. So they have guys that doesn't really need the help, man. They all five like Drew Holiday doesn't really need help.
Oh my god.
You don't need what kind of help does he really need? He can guard his man straight up.
He needed help in that playoffs, bro. It was Drew Holiday and with Jaylen Brown shading, bro. That was a scheme on him because they knew them other niggas were sorry, bro.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying though. Like you saying Kyrie, like yo, you got locked up. A whole scheme went against him. So like a whole coaching staff went and said like, yeah, we gonna shut this guy down.
Hell yeah, they pretty much put Jordan rule on both Kyrie and Luka and said rest of them beat us.
And they couldn't.
Yeah, and Oren was saying that Cam Thomas doesn't get by people; he shoots jumpers right over them. So this is what Oren
he's still doing it in an efficient way. So what's the problem?
If you're saying Cam Thomas is going to feel those effects, or even worse to that degree, from a team like the Celtics or similar to the Celtics, I can't fight that point. But that's a high bar to set. Which teams you see are constructed out like trajecting towards Celtics kind of team? Which teams you see like that right now in the East?
In the league, none of them.
That's what I'm saying though. So like the only team you're gonna really have that problem with is the Celtics, even if they make it that far to the point where we're contending and they putting a scheme around Cam Thomas. So you're really gauging it off of really one team in the East, maybe two teams in the West. So like it's hard. That's tough right there. That's tough. That's a hard bar you put right there. That's a hard bar to be created. That's a tough bar.
Yeah, I was, like I said, I was 50-50 on Cam. I made a lot of videos, and like I said, I seen this. I'm like, whoa, hold on, man. We got to get bigger, man. He's undersized at the 2-guard position. Like even like him actually trying to contest 3-point. Like my thing for him is really the defense. Like he doesn't have the athleticism to really kind of get out there on the 3-point shooters, chase them off the line. I mean, he doesn't have that.
Here we go again. Listen, there's not one.
Man, yo, SL, you and your emotions, man.
Wait. Hold on, BK.
What emotions?
You think that's more to athleticism or mindset?
Athleticism, man. You know, hey, yeah.
All right,
If you don't have if you don't have the fast twitch muscles, you just don't have it. You know, like Cam Thomas doesn't have like a 42-inch vertical, man. He's just not hyper athletic like that. You know, so yeah, I mean, even like that athleticism translates into defense for the most part. You know, so if he can't get out there on the three point, I mean, these guys can shoot the three ball. You know, y'all see it, man. You know, you got to get out there like Steph Curry. You got to get on him within like 1 second, 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, you got to cover space, quick space. So
yep, yeah. So and sorry, JR, I do understand the game, man. You just don't. You don't like what you actually hear.
Listen, BK. It's all about team defense. It's never about one player going versus one. Isolation plays comes versus particular
that's what you
players.
Want, man. You want guys that can be able to actually guard their own position, man. Right?
I don't see where Cam Thomas, like if we're gonna go points by points given up, Cam Thomas is always plus 10, 15. We go by the season. Like there's rarely when he goes versus player like Kyrie or Ant or like Spider, that's when he struggled. But if we're talking about like overall and like a team defense concept, like with the plus minus the group he playing with, he pretty much most of the time positive, and the team around actually positive because he facilitates way better and he makes pretty much he's playmaking way better and he's efficient with that.
That's still a work in progress right there. He has to develop.
The problem was is our coaching staff that fucked our entire season up, starting from Jack Vaughn, continuing with Ali next. Ali tried at the end, but the whole thing about it, it was too late.
Well, the thing is, he needs to become unconscious competence when it comes to playmaking. Right now, he has to think about like being a passer. It has to actually come like natural for him.
So BK,
that'll take a couple of years.
He started the season with less than one assist. He finished for the most part of the season. He averaged 5 assists. He reverted back to 4 assists. 4 assists is solid. And if we give him a ball and give him a game plan and stop benching him for no reason, maybe he will give us 7, 8 assists. How about that?
But listen, the Cam Thomas benching thing has always been nonsense. He has a 30% usage rate. He also has the highest percentage of shots per minute on the Nets last year with Mikal. He has gotten his opportunities. It's just Cam taketh and he giveth away as well. Like he'll score and then he'll come back down the other side of the court and give up a bucket.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like let's not. I don't think we should be speaking hyperbolic on.
Like you can Pat Thorne, you can score 15 points a game, but you're giving up 20 to 25 points a game.
Yeah. I mean, look at his defensive rating. You know what I mean? The Cam Thomas's issues is all right there to see. Let's not make him a player that he's not. Let's applaud him for what he is. He is an elite scorer. Elite. He's a bucket.
I hear your point, Python. Real quick, let me just say this: defensive rating is misleading because it's based on the 4 other players that you're on the team with, and then it varies from game to game. So I mean, defensive. I hear your point, Python. I'm just saying that defensive rating is kind of skewed. But
I mean, pick a defensive stat. Defensive win shares.
Defensive win shares is probably better.
Use your defensive eye test. Like
I hear your point. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell me
you're right.
He's a good defender.
No. You're right. I'm just saying defensive rating. Some players get a high defensive rating that we see them like in action and be like, yeah, you ain't shit, bro. Like you should have never got that high rate. But you still right though. You still got a point. Like this nigga, you can't be putting up 28 then giving up 42.
Yeah, that's it exactly. And he could do better, but really what has to happen is better players have to be put around him.
Yeah.
And And I think he exposed Mikal in a way because we were sold the bill of goods that Mikal was this incredible defensive player. We got here and he didn't.
No,
I
he
don't know.
was
Y'all tell
no.
me.
Mikael
I didn't
Bridges.
see
If
it.
you look, I could pull up his highlights. He was a really great defensive player in Phoenix, but for some reason,
We had
maybe
a
he didn't want
horrible
to. He didn't want
scheme,
to.
bro.
He didn't want to. He didn't want to be here. So, like, I mean, he kind of checked out mentally, So that's
Oh,
what
you
I
know it's
think.
right here. No, but all right, BK, our defensive scheme was horrible. A lot of people was out of defensive position and doing the worst shit they could do. You cannot tell me you looked at last season
And thought Claxton was playing the exact defense he was playing 2 years ago.
No,
Same team,
I was trying to tell people that, man, but nobody wanted to hear it. I mean, people. I'm like,
That scheme
well, he was
changed
playing.
in
He's playing out of
1.5
position.
years.
If he all right, so he could play the center. Like I was just saying when I opened the show up today, he could play the 5, but he needs to shoot, man. He needs to be able to shoot from at least, the 3-point line or like a good
I'm not
mid
gonna lie.
range shot.
I'm not gonna
So
lie to you, BK.
you do not expect a shot in less than a year, bro. Like you were talking like 3 months, 4 months. Look, like the season ended not too long ago, bro. Like for him to just pop out with a shot like out of nowhere, bro. Like for me personally, so many questions going to pop up. Like, bro, if you could develop a shot in 3 months, what is going on with you, bro? Like,
well, I mean, he probably could shoot. It's just like I said, it really all depends on the efficiency. I mean, in college, coming into from college, he shot 28% from 3 in
no,
college.
but BK, that's a confidence thing too. Because you know you can shoot. They're not putting you in position to shoot. You go up to coach like, yo, coach, I can shoot. Run me with a pin down at least or a spot or space out. I could hit that shot. Let me prove it. Nigga, Keegan Murray on the Kings went to Mike Brown and said, yo, I can post up. Run some post ups for me. I could get it done. The man gave him 2 post ups. He did his thing, bro. Do something. You gotta do something, bro. You gotta make something work. If he say he could, if he gotta come up with that. So if he's not coming up with that, he know better. He like, I'm probably not where I need to be at.
No, he said Nick Claxton in his exit interviews actually said it himself that he has to work on his 3-point shooting. He's working on it. He's not there yet. The same thing with like Day'Ron Sharp. Now, a lot of people think that Day'Ron can shoot, but like if you listen to Day'Ron, he's saying himself, not me saying it, that I'm just going by what he's saying, that he needs to still kind of work on it. He's not fully there yet.
Day'Ron release is too slow.
Yeah.
His release is too slow, and then when people run at him, it speeds him up a little bit. And he probably shoots it really well in practice. Clowney,
a lot of guys
had it in his bag. Clowney had the 3-point shot in his bag, but what he needed was confidence, and that's why the G League is so important. If you have a G League team, you have to use it to your benefit, especially in developing these players. I'm hoping the G League can save Derek, but it don't look good.
Yeah, I went to like a New Jersey Nets game. This is back, I think it was in 2006 when they were actually playing in New Jersey.
Right.
And I got there like an hour early, and I was watching the Trenton Hassel warm up. And he made about 100, almost like 100 mid-range shots in a row. I was like, damn, that's not fair, man. I mean, how can you stop a guy that could just like hit with that type of like? But then, like in a real game, Trenton Hassel, sucked when it actually came to shooting, though. So it just shows you the amount of work that you really got to put in to be a really good shooter at the NBA level.
Well, some people are different because like how you just said, BK, you shoot against air. So like when you're shooting against air, it's more easier. Some people live for the moment. Like we know some people that take difficult shots or put themselves in a bad position, but consistently make the bucket. So players are different. That's a good point, but players are different. Mentality matters sometimes. Mentality matters because if you could make so many shots in warm-ups and in the game, you can't hit it. That's something going on with you, bro. It can't just all be the defense.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it just, I guess it's like really kind of getting the form like consistent. That's the main thing.
Or you get scared when you're on the court, so like your hands start to shake. You get a little
Sweaty now, so that sweet release you had, it don't come off the same way no more. You used to have the ball at the seams on your fingertips. Now you got it on the rubber part. Now you got it on the
Listen,
Wilson part.
mechanics, you can work on mechanics. It's not the problem. We've seen the videos where Ben Simmons making, what's his name, 3-point shots on IG video. It's about the mindset, and if he got that dog in him and make that shot, that's what it is. That's what it's all about. Some players built for it, some players not.
Oh,
That's the only.
let me ask you a question. Not to cut you off, Fedor. Let me ask you a question. Cause I was asking this on Breezy on the channel. Would you for the first overall pick? Let's just say we get one or two, right? Would you prefer high athleticism or a person that you know has that dog in him? Now, the person that has high athleticism, little dog in there somewhere right there, but it could get snuffed out. But the person that got a dog, I wouldn't say high athleticism, but decent athleticism. Which one would you take?
I'm gonna look at different metrics, but like on Gil's arena when Kenyon Martin and Gil were breaking it down, I completely agree with that. I'm looking first of all if he got that dog mentality in him, and he got that work ethic to come along. If you got that too, you got a franchise player. Because rest of it, we've seen unathletic players who built themselves and became like superstars in the league. So I need that. And if you put size next to it, they definitely a franchise guy, franchise people. Like
Now,
Dirk Nowitzki,
I'm looking.
zero athleticism, zero, nothing to
Yeah,
talk about. Same thing with Joker. You put high IQ and work ethic next to it, you got franchise guy.
yeah.
And that's
I
why
was
I'm
telling
going
Jonathan,
Cooper Flag.
he was praising Edgecombe. I'm like, listen, I know Edgecombe
Edgecombe
is
is a
really, really
beast,
good, but there has
freak
to
of
be
the
a
nature.
basketball IQ that comes along with like that athleticism too. So we're looking at Nolan Troyer, and he looks more polished. And even though like Edgecombe, in terms of his athleticism, jumps off the charts, but Nolan, in
No,
terms of like running the
BK,
offense, yeah,
BK,
go ahead.
don't do this. Don't do this.
What?
Don't do this. You're playing with my feelings right now.
What do you mean? What happened?
Listen, VJ Edgecombe is going to be a star in the NBA.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just telling Jonathan, like, just look at the other things, that comes along with basketball instead
No,
of elite
he has.
athleticism.
He's not the example. He has all the things. He has the dog in him. He wants it. He wants it in the clutch. He was 17 years old when he joined that team. Now he's 18, and he's leading a team in the Olympics. Like not only in scoring, but in shooting, 3-point shooting percentage. And
What's
he's
he?
on the same
What
team
country? He's
with
from the
Buddy
Bahamas or
Hield.
something like that, right?
Yeah,
Yes, he
Bahamas.
playing with Monka and what's his name, Aiton over there. Chancey
Yeah.
Billups will be cheerleading on him over there. I attended
Listen,
every game.
Yeah, he looks like a Ja Morant clone, like a Ja Morant / Anthony Edwards.
No. He's bigger than Ja. Ja is more
Yep.
skinny. He's already kind of filled out. He's gonna get bigger. He's
Wait,
more
hold
like Westbrook in body type. He's
Hold on.
Westbrook with a jumper.
Popped
That's what I said.
Popped on. All right. What would be your in the league comparison for him, for VJ?
I'm saying I think he's not Westbrook because he's got a jumper. He's got a sick jumper, yo.
Westbrook got to jump in the early.
No, I mean, can Edgecombe play under control? I mean, that like sometimes Westbrook plays like he doesn't play under control. I mean, he's like too erratic, overthinks the game.
He's crushing Olympic European teams. Go watch him against Serbia. Go watch him against Slovenia.
So what about Nolan? All right. So what about Nolan then? Like Nolan Troyer. I'm pronouncing last name correct.
Nolan Traore is a specimen. He's going to be good too.
I heard that should be a top 4 pick.
That's a top 5 pick for sure. I mean, as it stands right now, but Nolan is not like you put Nolan on that Bahamas team. He's not better than DeAndre Ayton. You understand? It's not just that they have pros on the Bahamas team; they have good pros. he's better and more important to the Bahamas team than a
Yeah,
former
so
number one overall pick.
VJ Edgecombe, it looks like he's not even linked to Brooklyn. I mean, he's linked to the Hornets. Maybe they're looking to get rid of LaMelo or something like that. Actually, it probably would be an upgrade over LaMelo.
Throw that.
Melo played one.
There's no.
Wait, they have us
DJ
getting the
played
third
two.
pick. Who getting the first pick? Hold on. Who they got getting the first?
We winning first pick
Throw
in
those
every
mock-
draft.
those
The
mock
fucking-
shits out in the trash, yo.
Take a phone,
All right, so
CBS,
this is a mock
Bleacher. You
draft.
pull it. We number one.
It's a mock. All right, it's not definitive. All right, so this is a mock draft right here, man. So
Yeah, but if you if you got worse record, you guaranteed to win top 5. So we're gonna get one of them.
That's out. Listen, mock drafts now. No mock draft last year had Atlanta going number 1. No mock draft had
on a
Houston
weak draft.
going number 3. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but
watch
that's
the
a weak
game.
draft, though. It happens on a weak draft. If you look at the history,
That's not,
if
that's
you
not
look
the
at the
point I'm
history,
making. That's not the point I'm making. The mock draft is not about who picks. It's not about who gets picked. It's like who picked them. Having like BK said, it doesn't seem like the Nets are linked to him. No, it all depends on where the lottery balls fall. Like you gotta get Ace Bailey if he's there. But
I would take Edgecombe over Bailey. I would. Yeah, I think he's more NBA ready
that's
than
not
like
surprising take because a lot of, even Bleacher has Edgecombe going number 2 or 3. So Bailey is over there. Sometimes he's right there 8-7, depending on the
I
market.
was looking at some highlights. I don't know. His game doesn't look as.
I don't know about this kid Hugo Gonzalez at all, but he's in top 5 sometimes. So.
Wait.
Yeah, Jonathan, what took you so long to come on, man?
I thought you was sleeping, man. That's why we all went on the Breezy show before. I thought you was sleeping, man. But then I saw you were on. I was like, oh, damn.
I woke up about 12:30 or so, man. I fell asleep. I did.
You guys sent me a bad signal or something, man.
He's like, yo, you sleeping, man? I'm over here, dog.
No, but it's good you're doing the show on this. As far as the Isaac Okoro and Doe thing, I mean, at this point, his contract's a bargain. If they're willing to give us capital for him, he kind of fits what Jordy's looking for defensively. So it's a low risk, potential high upside if the Nets look to have a short rebuild. So we'll see what happens with that. As far as you're saying you want to draft Edgecombe over Bailey, you said? Listen, yeah. I think Edgecombe, when you look at this guy's highlights, he like sticks out, man. He does something where you go like, oh wow, this makes me think of this player. This makes me think of that player. Like Edgecombe makes you think of what he can be in this league, and that's exciting to somebody drafting attention. Because like with Cooper, Ace, and Harper,
the whole thing about it, Ace playing in New Jersey. So if we're gonna have an opportunity to get Ace, we're picking Ace in that position.
You know what?
No. You know what? Hold on, guys. Hold on. Because they had Ace barely linked. They had him like.
We got Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas said the 2 Edgecombe is 2. He's a shooting guard. So why we?
Of course, Cooper Flag is number 1 priority, man. I always say we're aiming high for number 1, and if it's number 2, Ace Bailey, I am so excited for that because I think Ace Bailey offensively will take us to a great stratosphere. Now, Edgecombe,
you guys are wild and comparing, saying that you wouldn't pick BJ because you have Cam Thomas. Do you understand how?
You see what I'm saying, Python?
But if you got Ace Bailey, if you're picking Ace Bailey instead of Edgecombe, how crazy is that? I'm thinking Ace Bailey.
Hold on, SL. They have some scouts are saying that Ace Bailey is like another Josh Smith. And Josh Smith was trash. I mean, all Josh Smith.
You guys call him KD now. That was Josh Smith? Yeah.
Not me. I'm not saying that. Hold on. I'm not saying that. Some scouts are saying that.
Yo, easy. What happened to Ace, man?
Talk some sense into this guy, man.
Bro. First off, number 1, put some respect on Josh Smith's name. Number 2, bro, if Josh
all he could do was run the floor, man. He wasn't great in the half court. ECE. I watched it for years.
Bro, but BK, if he's in this league today, this NBA today, he is a beast. Don't do that, bro. In the play. All right, so you're thinking about the regular season and in the playoffs. So in the playoffs, the games are more half court oriented. That's why you was, huh? No, not you, BK. My fault.
Oh, yeah. Josh Smith was not a great half court player, man. Yeah, I watched him for years.
I mean, we'll be fortunate to get either one of these guys. Like, if we hit top 5, top 3, there's somebody that you can build this team with. Like, if you have an Ace Cooper, Harper, Edgecombe, the guys like you have now, Thomas, Claxton, Clowney, they're going to get better because there's going to be some less pressure on them. Like, there's going to be more defensive pressure on the guys that are coming in. Thomas's numbers might go up. Claxton's dunk numbers might go up. Like, there's positives of getting either one of these guys. You know, like, we have to try to keep open mind, but I'm always going to aim for number 1. Not aim for 2, 3, or 4. I was aiming for number 1, man. You know.
I don't know. I will go with him, man. I mean, I think Edgecombe puts people in the stands. Yeah. I mean, he puts
if
a lot of
Hawthorne's algorithm,
will be
BK, if Hawthorne's algorithm is right with the Bucks, man, we could have Edgecombe and a Cooper race, man. If Hawthorne's algorithm goes through, man.
Bro, hold on, man. You wait, man. Wait, man. Hold on, dog. The Bucks pick is top 4 protected.
Yep.
I mean, to Hawthorne's point, though, you got to see what happens. I mean, honestly, people keep saying the Bucks. People keep saying the Bucks will be top 3 team, but defensively, they're probably one of the weaker teams in the league, man, on defense.
Bro, I said this on Breezy Stream. I think Hawthorne's there. I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna say it again. But respectfully, bro, you would like a cataclysmic fucking collapse would have to happen over at Milwaukee for that.
Yeah, Giannis calf injury, and he said.
I mean, easy. Dame and Giannis haven't exactly been clicking chemistry-wise, and Damian Lillard has a $60 million option coming up next year, which would hard cap the crap out of the Bucks. I don't think Giannis wants to be there for that. So if the Bucks get out to a crappy start, Giannis is going to put some pressure on that Bucks team, man, because they're facing a rebuild. Regardless of what happens between now and then, they're facing an inevitable rebuild.
With
that team.
John, they are never gonna get off to a horrible. Like I said, like it has to be first game of the season, and it crashes down.
They were bad last year, and they were like, "What they finished?"
Yeah, look up their defensive metrics, BK. Look up the Bucks' defensive metrics. It was awful. I mean, Damian Lillard, he's a non-factor on defense, man. He had some of his worst numbers since his rookie year. If you check his numbers from last year, like Lillard doesn't feel comfortable there. He said Milwaukee's boring. There's not much to do. He wanted to go to Miami. He wanted to go to the Heat.
He was going through divorce. He was going through different circumstances.
Yeah, but SL, what team did he want, man? He kept saying, "I want Miami." Miami was number 1. Bucks are not even on his radar, man. Like he's fine to be there to compete with Giannis, but if Giannis wasn't on that team right now, they would be like, "What am I doing here?" Seriously, they would be like, "What am I doing here?" At that point.
Listen, Dame's heart is not in it. So Jonathan actually makes a really, really excellent point.
Yeah. I mean, there's things to consider. Like, am I going to say the Bucks are going to be full out crap? Of course not. You have Giannis, man, former MVP, former champ, but a lot can go wrong.
Here's our backcourt for the future right here. You got Edgecombe, who I like, VJ Edgecombe, and then this kid right here that I was just looking up. I want to get Jonathan's perspective on this.
Okay, who you got?
Dame Sar over here, 6'6", shooting guard from Italia.
No. If you go, if you think
I'm a part Italiano myself, BK, so this is a me. Hey, listen, I will say this. Listen, Brooklyn is in a power play position going to the draft next. We have 6 picks, 4 first, 2 seconds. Those 2 second picks in the second round are going to be important because if they're top 30, that's essentially like getting a first or second selection in the second round. Like the Nets are going to have a lot of chances to make a good selection, even in the second round too. If they don't trade those picks.
We got
Oren was saying you can't develop.
Of course, right, and that's a great point. I know Oren made a point about we should trade some of those picks for like a Jonathan Kuminga. I don't see that as realistic, but there could be somebody out there that you could flip these picks for. But the Nets have to be careful too. Like we don't want to put ourselves in a bad position. We're trying to build up all the pieces for this team. We can't just say, "Oh, Kuminga's available potentially." And we just put half these picks on him alone. That could hurt us potentially too.
Trade those picks. BK, if they trade those picks, it's going to be on draft night. They're not going to let. Yeah. They're not going to because what they by having those picks, what they have is a way for a pathway to having a calamity happen to one of these teams. It happens every year. One of the teams people thought that was a contender, they fall. They have some kind of calamity happen to them. They fall in the draft. It has happened to us. That's how they got Jaylen Brown. That's how they got Jason Tatum. They never know I will never forget that night that they did the Celtics trade, and people were giving, and NBA pundits were giving Billy King uh uh
A
A
pluses
pluses.
every yes.
A
That
A
was
plus, A
a
pluses like
whole
minus,
thing.
that
Oh
A
yeah.
also
because
filled with a B
they were
plus.
like the picks will never be worth anything. They have KG and Pierce now with Darren Williams.
Yeah,
What
they can
happened?
compete right now. They can
Well,
compete right now. That's the best team to go against the Heat.
I was
Oh,
right
that,
there
That,
at
that,
that,
10
that,
BK, you're
too
that's
looking at a
based
because
on
mock
my
the
score
draft,
was
performance
right,
right
from
there.
BK?
last
I went
BK,
to
you're
a
looking at a
link
mock
that
draft, right?
yes.
That's a
Okay.
mock draft. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I got it on my tablet, so I'm looking too at this list. What
So
about
look
Dink
at look
Pate,
at look
man?
at James
Dink Pate's
Sar. Look at
somebody
him,
that
man.
that's could be looking at. Dink
Tell me
Pate?
that's not a Cam Thomas upgrade right there, man.
Motherfuckers really thought Paul Pierce, or old Paul Pierce,
No, well, no,
the Heat.
it's
How
you
many?
did that trade back then for spacing. I mean, they had was it Reggie Evans? I think that was the guy's name, and then Gerald Wallace who
Yeah.
couldn't shoot. So you brought in KG and Paul Pierce for spacing. Now they would do they would overload like on D. Will and Joe Johnson, and then force
Yeah,
Gerald Wallace and Reggie
honestly,
Evans to beat
why
them.
I supported that trade is because we were G Will broken ankles away where even Colby, G Mac, and other players came up and said it has to be something mental and his ankle, something like that. We were G Will ankles away
Wait. But
to
Adon. But it,
fighting versus Miami. Every game we lost it was either 4 points, 3 points, and Joe Johnson turned it into Joe Jesus. I never seen Joe Johnson cook anybody like that, and he
wait.
turned into a god.
But Adon. With hindsight now, we know that
Mm.
was fucking
Yo,
mentality.
Jr. Man,
This
I
motherfucker's the
have my
Wild Boys
general
West Coast.
manager's hat on, man. I have my GM's hat on. I'm always looking to upgrade for better talent, man.
No, BK, listen, here's the thing. We got to take this into account. 2026 with that draft will be dictated by not only who we draft, but by free agency next year. If there aren't quality role players like vets you could put on this team to help these young guys go to like a play-in position, then you tank for 2026. Like, it's going to be that simple, but it's not going to be that simple. Like, that's the best way to look at this. Like, it's going to come down to who's available, and if you don't think this team could get you to playoff next season, you tank the 2026 draft. Like, it's you got to make it simple like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you
there's
gotta
no
look.
need
You gotta
to
listen. You gotta.
overblow it though.
See, Jr. is in love, man. That's the whole thing. Jr. says I only bring up Cam just to trade him, even though I made like 4 positive videos about Cam Thomas, and then went on Brian Scalabrini's show when he was trashing Cam Thomas a couple of years ago. You know, and I just look more and more and more and more, and I was just like, hey, we can't match. We got to match up to the Ant-Mans and to the Ja Morants and to the Jalen Browns and to the Tatums. We got to match up to
I
these
would
guys.
say this, BK. It's interesting that we're looking at guys like Okoro, Keon Johnson, Claxton, Clowney. Like, it seems like for this season, it looks like that they want to surround as many defensive type guys around Coach Jory for his first season so they can develop a defensive identity. But that puts Thomas as the odd man out because defensively we know what he's at right now. So Thomas does have some type of pressure to defensively adapt because if he doesn't, how is Jordy going to approach that? Is he going to let Thomas work through it, or is he going to try to make adjustments with Thomas? Like, that's what I'm looking at with all these moves right now.
If you get a Cooper Flag on this team, you know, I mean, you know, let's see, God willing, then Cam Thomas is not his team anymore. It's Cooper Flag's team. You know,
Well,
that's the
can
thing.
Thomas handle a secondary role? I'll ask us to Easy. Do you think Thomas could handle a secondary star role on this team?
He did it in
Is he
college.
okay with relinquishing power, especially if he gets a contract? If he gets the bag, would he be willing to say, okay, Cooper, Ace, if you guys take over, I'm fine being your secondary guy? Like, where do you think Thomas would be on that level, Easy?
At that point, Cooper and Ace need to get in the gym, and from day one, they need to put it in Cam Thomas' mind why they are the guy. They have to prove that to him. It's not about the coaching staff. The coaching staff can do whatever they want. If the guy believe what he believes, you can't really do nothing about that. You can't do nothing for man believe what he believes. Cooper or Ace or whichever pick we get, whichever high talent we get, they're gonna have to come in the gym from day one and show like, yeah, you get buckets, but I get buckets too, and I bring a lot to the game. And even from now, my work ethic is high. Yes, I am that guy.
I hate the way John sentenced that question because it sounds like it gotta be either or. Like people did with the Boston. It has whose team is that? Jalen Brown or Jason Tatum? It's both of their teams. Like you have to have at least three.
But SL, you got to be careful because the Cam fans distinctively feel like the draft this next year, for some reason, it's not going to be good, that we can't rely on those guys or invest in those guys because Thomas has done more than them, even though Thomas has only been in the league for about 3 years now. So it's like you have to make a decision on whose team this is because you can't have false assumptions.
Expecting Cooper Flag. Listen, first 2 years, expecting Cooper Flag and what's his name, Ace Baylor, whoever comes to become Wemby from day one. I mean, unless he Wemby or LeBron, man, it took time for most of these players. G Wade didn't turn out to be G Wade.
That's even bad too. But wait, that's even bad though because we had somebody on a different stream say, "Oh, if these guys aren't KD or Kyrie level, what's the point?" Now you saying if they're not Wemby or LeBron, what's the point? Why do we got to compare these guys to those guys? Of course, they're not going to be those guys. Like to do that, you're kind of already putting these guys at a disadvantage before they even drafted. We should try not to do that a little bit too, man.
And it's not fair. And it's not fair to Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas is not going to be a starting shooter guard in 2026. They draft AJ DeBonsa. Like you get that kid shooting guard for the future.
Hold on,
it's just what it is. Like
Gary, would you mind repeating about what you said about Cam Thomas yesterday? I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's hear it, Gary. We had some disruption yesterday. Come on, Gary.
I'm looking at it from a teenage level, man. I'm just telling. Please explain to me the problems with Cam Thomas one more time, please.
Cam Thomas is an undersized 2, so he can't guard big 2s. He can't stay with big 2s, and he's too slow to guard point guards. So he's never going to be a good defensive player.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, so Gary, do you think there's anything he can improve on to
No, it's who you put him with. If you have Cam Thomas at the 2, you put a big guard next to him so they can switch off. That's not a hard problem to fix.
So the team built around you now?
What's hard to fix is the motivation and is the
you got to disguise him.
Play defense.
You got to disguise him.
Gary. He can have all the motivation in the world, right? Can he guard bigger 2s with all the motivation and the will? Can he still guard 2s?
No, he can't guard big 2s. He can't guard explosive 2s like Anthony Edwards. And he definitely can't guard quick point guards like John Morant. Like he's just he's never gonna.
Nobody can guard those guys.
Nobody can guard John Morant or De'Aaron.
He's never gonna.
Well, Gary, if Thomas doesn't. Well, Gary, if Thomas doesn't work on his defense this season, will that have any effect on his new contract next season?
You're not, Gary, explain it one more time. Please explain it to Jonathan one more time. He's not
Gary. Gary, I'm just asking, Gary. Say he doesn't work on defense. Do you think that affects his contract situation at all with this team? Like, is that a deal breaker?
All right, when I play basketball, I'm a below the rim player. I'm not an above the rim player. Me trying to guard, I'm never, and I do play hard. I play defense. I'm never going to be able to guard a hyper, like 6'3", hyper athletic guy. As much defensive will I actually have, I'm never going to be able to do that, man. So come on, man. Jonathan, man, stop falling in love, man.
No. First of all, BK, I'm asking Gary the question because we're trying to answer where Thomas will be at the end of next season. I'm asking Gary, would that, if he doesn't work on defense and just has his 30, 40-point games this whole season, does that affect his contract situation at all?
Yeah, he's like, I love Cam Thomas. I want Cam Thomas to take 30 shots a game, right? But we have to acknowledge that Cam Thomas is a very limited player. He does 3 things. He scores, and scores. That's it. There's nothing else on the court that he does, right? So he's never going to be a good defensive player. He's never going to be a pure point guard. That's not what he is. We have to accept that. Like, he can be a great number 2 option on this team. But if this team's really going to compete, he can't be your go-to guy. He can be your number 2 guy, but they have to get a true superstar so that Cam Thomas can just get into that role where he can score. And like defensively, if you can get a guy like Okoro who can guard 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's a perfect fit. So like I would definitely make
Okoro's
that trade.
a placeholder. Okoro's a placeholder.
He's a great role player. He's a role player. He is, but he's a terrific role player.
They're trying to lift their
Nico
back.
In the future. We're not competing next year. We're talking about
more. That was good points, Gary. And the thing that just hard I think for people to understand is that
John, guy who averaged 5 assists is not a liability. That means he can pass. That's a cap.
Let me ask you something. Can Brook Lopez go out there and be a great switch defender.
No.
Brook Lopez never been a switch defender. He's a drop back.
You can work
That's
on
his
it, right?
point, though. That's his point. He can't go out and switch
it's a
like
wrong.
Claxton.
It's a bad example. First of
No,
all,
it's not a bad
what's
example.
his name?
It's not a bad example.
First of all,
you
Cam
actually
Thomas.
believe that he
Cam
can do
Thomas
it,
showed us
and I'm
last
telling you,
year.
he can't.
Stop talking over me, man. Listen, Cam Thomas showed us that he can average 5-6 assists
And
last
not
year.
so.
That was half the season, though. Wait. And so that was half the season.
Yes,
that wasn't the whole season. That was like, what,
and that
15,
was the
16
coach
games?
who was
That's
constantly
not a full
benching
sample
him.
size, though.
And
We got
that
some full
was with the
sample size.
coach who constantly benched him and didn't draw no plays or made a system around him. So if you were gonna put him,
30% usage rate. You
Nah,
can't say that.
yes, as a
listen
scorer.
You can't say that.
to Gary's point, the best solution would be Thomas accepting a secondary role. But here's the thing: if the
not a
Nets want to get a
secondary
star
role,
in the
off the
future,
bench.
here's the thing: if you want to get a star in the role, who's going to recruit that star? Cam Thomas or Cooper Flagg or Ace Bailey?
New York City gonna recruit. New York City gonna recruit the star players the same way KD and Kyrie came over here, or any other star will come to the bigger market. The city, the location gonna attract them players. They're not gonna go
Players,
to
though, but
Oklahoma
SL,
City.
it's got to be players too. Like if you have somebody with Thomas, that makes stars want to go. Because the star
Listen,
would say, "Hey, I got 30 from
when you
Cam,
got
and I got
owner
20
who's
from this
willing
guy."
to spend, listen,
Like
John,
that works.
when you got owner who willing to spend, and one of the best locations in the league, you're gonna always be
SL,
attractive
Joe's side,
destination.
shot marks are not the reason this team is going to get recruitments. It's going to be who's playing and who's balancing this team out. Shot marks, Joe's side don't exactly have a good standing right now, man.
Players are always going to come to New York. Like I've always believed it. I've seen it. We've paired Darren Williams and Joe Johnson, ruined them. Then we got KD to waive his no trade clause and come to the Nets. That's another superstar that came here at the wrong time. Then we had Kyrie and KD. We're always gonna get star players. It's New York. And you live in New York. It's not like the Knicks where you have to live in Westchester because your practice facility is in Purchase.
It's in Sunset Park right there. One stop or four stop.
Nothing wrong with living in Westchester County. I'm up in Westchester County, man.
But it likely takes a combination of an Ace or Cooper with a Thomas to get a star. It can't just be one or the other. Like if Thomas can work with one of these guys, we're gonna be a better team in a year or two. But it has to be willing to understand the hierarchy. There has to be a hierarchy of some sort on this team. It can't just be both. It can't just be both.
Works out. If everything works out,
he says it's Cam Thomas, number one player. If not, you have to get a better player in the draft, and it's about the 2026 free agency. Yeah, I've been saying that for the last couple of months. Yeah, it's about the 2026
It's kind of bad to evaluate Thomas as number one option when the goal this season is to tank. So it's like, are we going to take what he does with assists, scoring, and be like, hey, we might have intentionally lost the season, but Thomas still had decent numbers. Is that a real test, though?
Listen, I'm yet to see a player who carried the team by himself. Except maybe AI, and Derrick Rose, but they still got help. Every player, including LeBron, MJ, every single one of them needed 2-3 players who can score 20 points, especially in today's NBA. So
it's good that you brought up AI because that's the only kind of team Cam Thomas could ever succeed on. Is one where you got 4 elite defensive players around him, and he could just do his thing. And even though AI was a way better defender than
and way better offensive player too, man. Come on,
what's his name? Generation which he played in 2000s.
I understand the point,
early
but
2000s.
Allen Iverson is not.
It was 80 point games.
I'm just talking about play style and what the player wants to do. I'm not saying by any means that Cam Thomas is Allen Iverson. No way.
Hell no.
I'm just saying Allen Iverson was an undersized shooting guard who had an uncanny first step that no one's like a legendary first step and a legendary crossover, and he could get to the bucket on any big man, on anybody who was guarding him. Period. That was Allen Iverson. But to make to get the Sixers to go to the finals, you had to get Dikembe Mutombo, you had to get Eric Snow, you had to get
Aaron Lucky.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but
Like
that
you
was
built,
that was like
you built a,
like the
you
league
built
is
a
better
super
now. I mean,
defensive
they didn't
team.
have the Ant-Mans back then or the Jaws.
That's not what I'm saying, BK. What I'm trying to say is to build a team around Cam Thomas, you'd have to do something like that. That's not happening. What Cam Thomas is, I believe, is a super six man. That's what he is. He's more Jamal Crawford.
You know what? You just got JR angry about that because
No, listen. To add to Hawthorne's point, I even said this too. Let's just say from 2 years from now, we are in both drafts. We get some really good prospect players to lead this team's future. And say Thomas doesn't improve on anything. If he's a sixth man on this team, we're going to be winning games. Like, shouldn't the result be that we're winning games whether he started or playing as a sixth man? As long as we're winning, shouldn't that be the goal? Like, why does it have to be a power struggle in that sort of way with Cam Thomas? Like, that's my problem with Cam fans. It's like, oh, if he's not starting, we're not going to do good. If he's playing off the bench and giving you 30 points, we're winning. Like,
check it out. Ginobili came off the bench for San Antonio. He was their second option. They won 4 championships with him, right? So you can have your score come up. I mean, Lou Williams never won a championship.
Hold on.
Right, Gary, right.
I got to answer Nico's. Yes, he's a six man. Most teams in the NBA, Nico, Cam Thomas is coming off the bench. Sacramento off the bench. Lakers off the bench. Knicks, he's not even playing. I mean, he's not even coming off the bench.
But that should be seen as a demotion, though, because Thomas is a skilled scorer. Like, you need guys in your middle quarters to win games.
That are better than him. Jonathan, you act like he was picked 27.
BK, I'm agreeing with you that starting is a lot of risk with him. Like Hawthorne said, you need defenders around this guy for him to maximize his full potential. But if he's on a six-man role, he adds more depth to what you're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to say.
Defenders around him, you got to play both sides, man. You got to be able to score the ball too. It can't just be a bunch of 3-and-D guys. Like, they can't just be one-dimensional.
Yeah, but that works in a second unit, though. It doesn't work as well in a first unit, especially if your goal is to win. But in a second unit, that works with Thomas. You have 4 defenders around him. That should be a solid second unit. Like, there could be a lot of potential. I mean, Gary, am I right or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, and I don't think it's like, it's a demotion, but like, there's nothing wrong with being a sixth man who comes off the bench. Like, was Ginobili good? Was Jay Crossover good? These guys were good, right? Like, no one would say they didn't. Like, if you had a career like Ginobili's in the Hall of Fame, isn't he? He's a sixth man. Kevin McHale spent half his career.
He could start if he wanted to. It's just that you needed somebody to run the offense for the second unit, though. Let
me ask you this, though, Gary.
Jamal Crawford was a great player, right?
But he wasn't like he was like a Cam. I mean, who's better?
Exactly.
I mean. But Jamal Crawford is definitely better than Cam Thomas, Gary, right?
He is way
better.
Let's watch. I mean,
he could pass the rock. Come on.
Yeah, the passing of Jamal Crawford was on a special level, man. That's what separates him from Thomas. Thomas hasn't mastered assist passes yet.
Lou Williams, is that a better comp?
Well, that's where they have him rated as Lou Williams.
JR's starting to come around, man. He's starting to come around because he was like,
Yo,
that's a damn good player.
Yo, I got to give a shout out to K-Rod, especially LM. LM used to be a straight up Cam fan, but he's now opened his mind more to the possibility of what this team can be with drafting players. Like, I'm happy that people like LM can open their mind to the idea, like, hey, if Thomas is off on the bench, it's not the worst thing in the world.
The problem with Cam Thomas coming off the bench, right, in his mind, is that a bench role doesn't equal, like, starter money. You know what I'm saying? So that's really more the problem is, will he be happy actually coming off the bench, though? That's the thing.
He should just take the 4-year, $130 million extension now.
That's not true, BK, because
I don't know
there are 6 men that make more money than the starters. So that's not true. It's how GM evaluates the team overall and select players.
All right, so you do. All right. So you actually just compare him to the rest of the NBA, like shoe guards around the league.
No, you compare.
I don't like so he's undersized, like Gary said. He's undersized at the 2 positions. So let's compare him to Ant-Man. Let's compare him to guys in like in his position, pretty much. I mean, and where does he actually rank there?
He ranks
Jamal Murray
can
actually dunk on somebody. All right,
Jamal Murray is not a Jamal Murray. That's not how. Listen, when they go to negotiating table, they may be put up some numbers and start playing on comparison game. That doesn't work 90% of the time. You gotta listen to like these ex players and how they explain how negotiations go. They look at the value of select player to the team, and right now
To the
we
team, yes.
so as of right now we can extend Cam Thomas to 4 year 130. But what Sean Marks told to what's his name, Cam Thomas free agent, agent, is that listen, if Cam Thomas somehow jumps into NBA All Star first team, second team, or third team, or gets some other option like certain boost, we can, give him 4 year 180. And that's why Cam
Yeah.
Thomas will be hungry for the
SL,
next
that's
year.
not going to happen, man. Given where we are this
We
upcoming
ready
season,
right now
it's
to
hard to
give
see him lose
Cam
that.
Thomas
It can
buck
happen.
40 right now, 4 year buck 40. That's what he's eligible for. He don't. The only thing that why he's not signed is because we're giving him a ball and telling him, yo, can you be that all-star level player where we can give you more money? And that's why Cam Thomas talking about being playmaker, being a leader, being all that at age 22, going into 23.
No, listen, it's good that he wants to do those things. We've challenged Thomas to adapt a leadership, a playmaking mindset, but in retrospect, you also have to see it because, like BK keeps saying, it's not going to happen in 1 year, but it has to be more consistent with the effort on that. Like it can't just be I'm going to score most nights and not do anything else. That's when it gets a little dicey.
So, all right, Nico's saying that Cam Thomas could be a Jamal Murray type of player. What do you think?
I mean, Jamal Murray knows how to get to the rim a lot more. I mean, Thomas needs to work more on that.
Jamal is way bigger and way more athletic.
Yeah.
I actually when I did with the Denver fans today, when I was talking to select few, when they showed what's his name, Jamal Murray's efficiency when he plays with Nikola Jokic and he plays without Nikola Jokic. When he plays with Nikola Jokic, his efficiency jumps all the way to 65%, 64, 65. There's like 1,400 minutes, something like that, and there's 444 minutes where he plays without Nikola Jokic. And his efficiency drops all the way to 38%. So there goes that.
How am I being delusional, Kieran? He needs to work on his passing. Listen, Thomas needs to become a playmaker if he actually wants to maintain a starting role in this league. If Thomas doesn't work on his playmaking, he will likely be moved to the bench. That's the realistic logistics of this situation. Me, BK, and these other guys, we ain't BSing you. We're just telling you the facts.
John, look at the team construction. How you putting 25 plus point scorer on the bench? Where you getting talent? You got any star link to us? Any like player link to us?
I told you the strategy. We aim for the top draft picks, looking free agency, and if everything goes well together, Thomas could play off the bench and give us exactly what we need to win games.
Right now, we ain't got no free agent. The only free agent we can afford is Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram right now.
2 years down the line,
there's only one team that linked to Brandon Ingram is Detroit Pistons because of Trojan Langdon. Listen, going further, we banking on one thing and one thing only: getting Ace or what's his name, Cooper Flag.
Let me ask the panel.
All the draft capital go for another star like Trey Young or somebody like that.
All right, let me ask the panel something. So Dennis Milton says his flexibility is why Cam Thomas doesn't have the extension yet. So Gary, you think it's flexibility, or you think like Sean Marks is going to go shopping and see if he can actually upgrade that position?
I think Sean Marks. I don't think Sean Marks has ever liked Cam Thomas, honestly.
Gary, man, you digging deep on this one.
I like Cam Thomas. I'm not saying me. I would sign Cam Thomas right now to an extension, but I'm not Sean Marks.
No, you said the right thing. Sean has never shown an affiliation for Thomas. He only gave him a compliment this past offseason, said, great, Thomas worked on these things. Necessarily wasn't expecting it, but I'm glad he did it. Like, that's not the confidence I look for in a guy who says I'm the best player on the team.
It's really what you said, Gary. He's undersized at the
Listen, can I rebuttal that, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because Sean Marks gave the ball to Cam Thomas right now. and he traded Mikael Bridges and told them like, "This is your team right now. Let's show us what you can do, and we can
Yeah,
give
but
you a max contract."
they did that so they could tank. Like,
He didn't say that though. Wait, SL, you're wrong. SL, he didn't say Thomas is the leader of his
pretty
team.
much that. It's pretty
No, he
much.
didn't
You
say it
have
though.
to be.
Thomas says he
Listen,
wants that to
listen.
happen, but
The way
Thomas didn't say
we
that in his
did it,
interview.
the way we did it, you don't have to be saying anything. This is about Kim Thomas right now and Noah Clowney. What we got over there, but Noah Clowney don't need no contract extension. We right now talent evaluators.
yeah,
Complete mode.
you gotta look
I
at
mean,
it.
Easy.
This is just
Do
like
you think
D'Lo.
Sean Mark said this is your team, Cam Thomas? Like, we didn't hear that. He didn't confirm that on his interview.
I wouldn't
No,
say he
Cam
outright
Thomas.
said.
Sean Marks does not like Cam Thomas. It's just like he didn't like D'Lo. With D'Lo, he knew, regardless to what anybody says, that these dudes decision to come to Brooklyn, he knew he was getting Kyrie, and that's why he was so wishy-washy when anybody asked him about D'Lo. It's the same thing with Cam Thomas. He's non-committal because he knows that's not going to be his guy. Next year they're tanking and then for the 2026 draft, it's going to be an organic tank because you're going to be playing kids. You got 4 draft picks in an elite draft. You're going to be playing young dudes. There's not going to be any veterans on this team, so you're going to organically tank, and the best players. So you got Carlos Boozer's kid, you got AJ DeBanza, and then what's the other guy? Oh man, the center, which is I'm forgetting his name, but
Common Maluk.
No, he's a center.
No, he's talking about 26.
Oh, 26. Okay.
26.
Yeah, JR has a comeback for you, man.
What does that even mean? First off, K-Ron, I was trying to keep my points very simple because I was under the impression that we were going a completely different direction from a rebuild because everything was back and forth. So I couldn't make a direct proclamation at that point.
90% of the salary cap still have to be filled. We got 95 mil next year, and going forward, we're going to have about 100 something. So somebody got to get paid. Cam Thomas is getting paid. Whether you agree, like it, don't like it, it's a fact. We're going for it.
So it amazed me that so many people were crying for a rebuild, but when we want to add pieces around Thomas, if these pieces are better than him, it's a bad thing. Like, that is just so weird to me. Like,
some of these guys want to rebuild so badly. What pieces are you talking about? What
the draft pieces we keep talking about, SL? Cooper, Ace, Harper, Edgecombe, AJ,
okay, how much money they making? How much money they making?
Oh my God, SL, you're
gonna be making 15, 16. Listen,
man.
They're gonna be making. I'm talking. Yes, because I'm saying to you and you that salary cap don't work the way you think. Salary caps is about mathematics. You have to pay certain players by their years and their eligibility. Like same thing with what's his name, Jalen Brunson. He's banking on his 10th year. Why he's doing it? Because he can sign that supermax contract. And he banked on himself. That's why he got that player option. Same thing with us. We right now got 95 million in the cap space going into next year. We're gonna pay Cam Thomas.
Nico has a question for you, John.
Hold on, real quick.
It's a good question. I would say this: if Garland was on this team, he would be good as a point guard, and Thomas would be good as a secondary man. But defensively, it'd probably be a harder show. But they could be potential there. But if you look at who's more point guard ready, Garland has shown some of that in the Cavs. When he was the main guy, when Mitchell came, his numbers just dropped, but he was good before Mitchell.
You got 4 picks for Garland and matching salaries. You got it for that?
Wait, what?
You got in order to get Garland, they asking for. Okay then.
He was asking bringing Garland. I'm not saying you should get Garland.
Ador came up here, he been cooking, boy. Yo, John, you got to.
Scott was good.
Hey, what is he?
Ador is cooking your point, bro. You got to fight back.
He ain't cook. What is he cooking me on? First off, he's on this impression
you
that
not understanding
we got to get Cam Thomas at full max contract when we need to develop.
This kid don't comprehend shit, man. Come on. Are you serious, John? And they play different position. We don't even got nobody affiliated to us to play two. Cooper Flat, anybody else is shooting forward. They 6'6", 16.
Yeah, but what
Come
do
on,
they
man.
got that Cam doesn't have? Defense, height, athletic ability. That's what you need to win in the
Okay.
I don't
future.
listen.
So hold on.
SL,
Cooper
I don't
Flag
know
playing
why you're
shooting
not
guard.
looking at that.
Hold on. Cooper Flag playing shooting guard.
Now who's
At
cooking?
6.
Who easy?
Okay then.
You're right about that point, SL. There's no like Cam is going to be your shooting guard for the next 2 years, very highly likely, unless you get Edgecombe. Because if you get Edgecombe, forget it. Like, I'm sorry, you just have to put Cam on the bench. Like that's how nice that kid is.
Let's get
But
Edgecombe first. Then we're gonna start. I'll be happy to get Edgecombe. If Edgecombe, we get Edgecombe,
You think they'll
then
draft? You think they'll draft Edgecombe just because they don't want to pay Cam Thomas?
listen. I think they're
no,
gonna pick
no,
up Dylan
I
Harper
believe that.
or Ace Bailey before that because they New Jersey kids. They right there. I'll go to Rutgers. I'll go watch it. I'll watch them.
Yeah,
But are you going to base it purely off New Jersey with both those guys? I mean, I think Edgecombe could
Listen,
edge out Harper
you sound like
potentially.
Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey some bumps. A generational
I
talent.
didn't say Ace Bailey's bum. I actually want Ace Bailey, but I'm
I'm
just saying
picking
if it's
Dylan
between
Harper over
Harper and
Edgecombe
Edgecombe, you shouldn't count
if the
Edgecombe out.
situation comes to that. I'm picking Dylan Harper because of that fit. And Dylan Harper is a monster himself. I mean,
Yeah, but he doesn't have the athletic ability Edgecombe does, man. Edgecombe seems like he's ready to go
nobody does
all
the
over the room in
athletic
different
ability
ways.
Edgecombe has. That's why he's going top 3 top.
I know, but he'd be a good complementary piece to Thomas. Edgecombe can kind of do what Thomas can't do, which is go to the rim with force. Thomas is great
Listen,
mid-range
to me,
shooter,
it's
great
Ace
perimeter
Bailey
guy,
or
but
Cooper Flag.
Edgecombe
Rest
could
of
do all the
the
interior stuff that Thomas isn't as good at. Like, that could work if we're trying to find a balance here.
listen, Edgecombe is monster talent wise. He's freak. Like, but the whole thing about Edgecombe is he don't see the game all the way. Like he can't control the tempo the way like Nolan Traore does, Dylan Harper does, or Cooper Flag. So that's an issue right there. Then you go Ace Bailey. He don't control tempo, but he's 6'10". He's a monster who can score over anybody. He pretty much
Yeah, guys, can
certain
you hear me?
people.
Yeah, I can hear you, BK.
All right. Yeah, I was trying something out.
So he's affiliated to. I mean, he's being compared to like KD, T Mac. That's guys like that. Like he's freakish scoring ability. Like can he turn up to be like the only thing people say sometimes is like why he's not mellow because he don't have that post game. If he gets post game, then he can be like Carmelo Anthony type guy. He covers everything scoring wise.
I mean, if we're being honest.
Game.
Wait, what, Pathor?
I've seen it on film. He's got a Ace Bailey has a post game.
Well, some people not them scouts. The shows that I've been listening to, them scouts they're not convinced. So
yeah.
you got to go up in there and tell them what it is.
It might be because he's a little skinny right now, but look at his body. He looks like T Mac. Like when you go back and look at T Mac was
he got that skinny frame. Yes, right.
He's bigger than T Mac.
No, I wasn't, Nico. I'm a Brooklyn fan, man. I wasn't high on Scotty Anderson, man. No, I like that these guys ask me questions. Please keep asking me questions. It's fun, man, to get away from this. But listen, Thomas, I know that you might be hard on Thomas, but realistically, Cooper, Ace, Harper, or Edgecombe, well, any one of those 4 guys could play with Thomas, and the team would be better. I think we'll admit that. But at a certain point, when this team wants to compete again, some guys are going to have to sacrifice for others. I mean, that's what happens in basketball. When you want to become a championship team, some guys have to sacrifice a role they originally had the betterment of the team, and we're probably gonna have a lot of discussions about that when that point comes.
John, it's not gonna happen in the next 3 years. So by that time, Cam Thomas will be eligible for another extension. So in the next 3 years, talking about moving Cam Thomas,
Wait, 3 years?
Cam Thomas. Yes, we're not being a contender for the next 3 years. That's what I believe in. Unless we're gonna get somebody like Tatum, Giannis. You got anyone coming over here? Luka? Anyone coming over here?
No,
I don't think so.
Aaron Fox could be a potential option if the Kings crash and burn.
Who the player is? It's just like SGA. 3 years ago, nobody thought that the Clippers got fleeced.
Yeah, it took SGA 3 years
Right. It took
3 years. Right.
it
That's
took
what I said. We're not gonna be competing for the chip for the next 3 years. So
no, but
stop
Yo,
talking
Clippers got
Cam
robbed, man. Clippers got
what I'm
robbed.
trying to say is what I'm trying to say is you could build an OKC type of team if you find
Yeah.
your SGA.
We're in a trajectory. I
And it doesn't
understand
take
that,
3 years. In the third year of this rebuild, the Nets could be
Could be.
because I like these players better than the Williams kids. I like all these everybody in the top 5 of this draft better than Chet. That's just me. And the Nets already have 2 nice pieces with Clowney and Cam. So now you're filling out, you're just basically putting, stuff around the edges. But if you pick in the lottery in 2025 and 2026, not even the lottery, if you pick in top 5, which they can easily do for the next 2 years, you are going to come away with a blue chip player. Because in this draft is good. Next year's draft has Carlos Boozer's sons. It has AJ DeBanza, which I think he's number 1 overall.
Right.
And then I'm blanking on this center, this young center. He reminds me a little bit of DeMarcus Cousins, but with a much better, a much earlier developed 3-point shot, and he's a winner too. But I'm blanking on his name, but I think it's Cole something. Don't mind me. That 2026 is a packed with superstar players. Not superstar, but star players draft. You pick in those 2 drafts and you do well with all these picks, you could be
even
right
like
back in contention.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is a free agent, man. You think you'll actually stay with the
OKC?
Yeah, I don't see him
OKC got
leaving.
decisions to make coming up in the next couple of years.
SL, you were wilding, man, last stream saying that Chet's the guy of that team, man. That's Shea's team, man. I don't
Yes,
see him
it
anywhere.
is. No. Don't get it twisted. No, John.
SL, why are you don't like Shea so much, man? You take Shea off that team, they would be not even a top team. They'd be maybe top 7. I don't see him a top 1 without Shea, man.
Listen, with Case and Wallace, Jay Will, and Chet Holmgren, they're gonna be a 15-win team.
No, but SL Wallace just got to the league. I really like him, but to ask him to carry that team, nah, he's a good, solid role starter potentially. But
right,
as far as the main guy,
we're gonna see it next year.
I mean, Gary, where do you fit on this? I mean, do you think SL's right that that's Chet's team, or is Shea not getting the credit he deserves for helping that team get to where they've been in a short time?
Right now, it's SGA.
I mean, where do you think, Gary? What are Gary's thoughts on this?
I mean, that's Shea's team. I mean, like Chet is 1A, but Shea's the guy. Like Shea to me was the MVP of the league this year. I know he didn't win it, but he was still but Shea's a 30-point per game guy with the game on the line. Who's getting the ball? Shea. It's Shea's team. And I like Chet, but and Chet is the second superstar on that team.
What I said about Chet down the road, it's gonna right now. Shea, of course, he's better. He's more veteran. He's game more polished. He does everything on a great level, like top 10 level player. He's on that level right now.
Hawthorne, were you talking about Chris Kanak? Is that who you're talking about, Hawthorne?
No, I'm driving back from Atlanta with my family. I would look it up, but it's not.
Yeah, I was trying to check for you, man, because that's the center I saw. There's another guy called Seme something. Cide Gue? Is that who you're talking about? Or Malachi Moreno?
Caleb Wilson?
Caleb Wilson. Look at that. Caleb Wilson. He's power forward. That's who he's listed as. Oh, he's power forward. Yeah. No, but to the point, SL, like guys like Shea ain't gonna go anywhere if they're especially in a situation where a team has 15 first-round picks. Like the OKC is in control of that conference, man. They can get 2-3 stars if they wanted to, man. Like they can compete for multiple years, decades even, I'd say, at this rate. They keep going the way they're going.
First of all, I can debunk all that theory that you have like right now for simple facts and the data that was collected in years past. OKC is not heavy tax-paying team. One thing. Two, we already seen OKC losing top talent before. And three, we g- we gotta deal with this new CBA, which is much more harsher than previous CBAs, which pretty much was what's his name? Not open cap. It pretty much wasn't hard cap like right now. Well, right now you pretty much hard cap, and over there was no hard cap back then. And I can guarantee you the same way I predicted with New Orleans Pelicans. Certain teams, certain owners, if you're not familiar with them, go do your homework. OKC will never go in a deep tax threshold like 5-6 mil above. That's what they do, and then they lose talent.
But SL, this team's in a power play. They're not going to let Shea go, man. Especially when they want to win a championship.
Listen, we just seen Boston. We just seen Boston win the championship. What's the next thing they want to do? Put the team on sale.
Yeah, but you don't think OKC is itching to get Kevin Durant? Like if the Suns crash and burn, you don't think OKC wants to get KD?
You don't understand.
You don't think though that OKC wants to get KD if he's available at next year trade? Let the Suns crash and burn, like we all think they're gonna. You don't think that OKC wants to get KD to play with Shea, Chet, and that would form like a crazy big three, right? You don't think they want to do that?
Nah, but like I was saying yesterday,
1 year win chip and then break it down.
Yeah, they don't want big threes. They want the finals.
No team as of right now, no owner, no team willing to break their bank and go for second apron on consecutive years. And we've seen that time and time again. Two teams that broke down already: Golden State and LA Clippers. They broke their dynasties to their playoff teams for what? Because of money. Same thing happened to Boston.
Look what Nico said. Celtics are selling because they won. What are OKC winning without Shea? That is a great question, Nico. Like, seriously, the West is super damn competitive, and OKC got first place by experimenting. They said it was an experimentation season to see where we're at. Wow. But eventually, you don't just want to be an experimenting team. You want to say, what do I need to get to the next level to win a championship? That's what it comes down to, OKC. If they want to make a big move,
it comes down to
that team, they will.
No, John, that's not how it works. It works, can you afford them or not? And as of right now, they can't. But going later on, 2 years from now, can they? No. History tells us no.
I just don't see Shea leaving. BK, can you zoom down on this list to see who else is available? Because these guys on top.
Jonathan, have you ever been to Oklahoma City?
I have not, man. I have not.
Okay, if you ever get a chance to go to Oklahoma City, don't. Right? Like, I would not be surprised if anyone Oklahoma City.
Yeah. That's why teams. That's why fans hate us. That's why all them fans hate us. They will be like, yo, New York, LA, Miami, who else? Houston, Chicago. They always hate us. For that simple fact.
What franchise is this for again, BK?
City and all that.
26.
26. I mean, the only guy that sticks out is De'Aaron Fox, man. I mean, the Kings are like that low market that's really trying to do something, but I don't know if DeMar's going to push him over that. And Fox didn't want to sign an extension because he's unsure of that team's future.
Gary, what is so bad about OKC, man? You said you've been there. Well, what's so bad about it?
Yeah, I've been there. It's a couple hours away from me. I've been there a bunch of times. Like there's nothing. Like there's nothing. Like imagine you're 27, 28. You have all the money in the world, right? And you're in Oklahoma City, right? Like, bro, there's nothing. Like there's a couple of casinos like 2 hours away. There's like 2 buildings. And there's one nightclub that plays country music till 2 a.m, and then it gets closed down. Like, bro, there's nothing. And you're not near anything. Like, there's no big city like an hour or 2 away. Dallas is like 5 hours away, 4 hours. Like, there's nothing. There's literally nothing.
Yo, Gary, be careful. Them Oklahoma people will be coming after you. BK on the list for Cleveland. You on the list for KC, man. Come on,
let's say that SL's right that OKC wouldn't want to go over the tax resign Shea. They would make one of the biggest mistakes in NBA history. Let somebody of that magnitude go. But hey, for anybody else that has open cap space like us potentially. Oh my gosh, that would be quite.
John, pull it to you like this again. Listen.
But I don't know
Right
if I see it
now,
happening right now.
right now, Celtics ownership losing $600 million. 600 for each year. They're losing 600 plus million dollars. How
Right.
many owners can afford that?
What you have to
Oh, they
understand
can't
is
afford that in the
Celtics
Celtics
are
because they
owned
paid
by
Tatum and Brown $1 billion. I mean, that is unprecedented. I mean, Gary, that's like a third apron team, and that's
Yeah,
like
I
this is
know
like the third
They've been
apron.
second apron team 2 years in a row,
I mean, that's
and
like
it's
filing
gonna
for
get worse.
bankrupt. That's why they're selling. It's like I'm filing for
Exactly,
bro,
bankrupt.
because they're
exactly
owned
what's gonna happen.
like Rich
That's why
Hirschbeck and
I'm
those
telling
guys
you.
are an investment team. They're not gonna they'll go over the tax, but they're gonna make all their money back in the sale. They're like, Boston's a historic team. Nobody wants to pay that.
And
Nobody
yet
wants
they're
to pay
losing
that
money.
luxury tax.
Yeah, but also Tatum and Brown are in their primes. That's why they were both worth the money. I mean, if you get KD on the team with Shea, KD's not going to ask for $200 million. I mean, there's flexibility there where they might go over the tax a bit. I don't think it's going to kill them like it's going to kill the Celtics in the future 2 years. However long they want to keep that
They
going.
better win in the next 2 years because I agree with SL. SL made an excellent point. And if you look at the track record of the team, they traded James Harden for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to go over the tax. That is their MO. That was a
They lost a whole
great
bunch
point,
of role
SL.
players that they had. It applies to every small market team.
What do you guys think about
They didn't
Anthony
sign Ibaka.
Simmons? Does he like move the mirror for any of you guys or no?
Every time, I mean, like
I love Anthony Simons, but
I love him
don't
too,
see
but
how he gets here.
he doesn't like you can't put him in a backcourt with Cam, right? Like
Right.
No.
See,
Two
that's the
scorers
negative.
guys
That's
who
the
can't
that's the
defend.
negative thing of starting Cam is some
I
guys that
heard
you think
he's
will fit that
available
starting
too.
lineup can't play with the guy. Like that's why decisions will have to be made in the future. Like because if that was a problem, Simon should be on this team like right now. But that's the thing with Thomas. Like if you have to work your defense around him, you're kind of taking away options, right? That's
You
a
know what
potential
team?
problem.
John. You know what team? The only team that's been linked to what's his name, Simons, is Orlando Magic. They definitely need a guard who can
Oh,
score
they
and
get
stretch the floor.
Simons,
So,
man. That's a missing
and
offensive
right now,
piece. That was good
Sox,
for him.
they
If they
offering
get
Sox for
Simon, they're better
Fultz,
than the
but
Knicks.
they don't want
Wait,
to like
what
what's
Butler?
his name? Hmm? Go ahead, Mike.
Wait,
Another
Butler,
I
what'd you
said
team.
if they
say?
get Simons, they're better than the Knicks. The
Oh,
Orlando
ooh,
would that's their only flaws. They don't have a real guard.
right.
That like Paolo is
Actually,
making Fultz look passable.
Python
And
is correct though.
you put Anthony Simons on that team. Woo.
I only say that because what's his name? If Orlando gets Simons, they got unlike Knicks, they got rim protection. Like Knicks, yo,
Keep
listen,
scrolling down, BK.
Julius Randle not stopping nobody. Like we can forget about that. Jericho Sims, I'm not sure why he's still in NBA. Like he's
Yeah.
not belong here. Like
Ouch.
you gotta find somebody, but their own fans talk about that. There ain't nothing ouch about it. They screaming and alert. They talking about they got no rim
The
protect
Knicks'
unless
biggest problem is
they
the
ban
center
him
position.
on
That's the biggest problem.
metal ankles. What's his name? Mitch Robinson. They
Oh
good
God.
as they good as his ankles. And Orlando got rim protection. They got several players who will what's his name contest shots, block it, whatever. They got Banchero, Franz Wagner is 6'10". They got Wendell Carter over there. What's
Isaac.
his name? Isaac. Yeah, they got a whole bunch of 6'10", 6'11" guys. Actually, they had what's his name periods of times during the what's his name last season where they played 6'10" guys, all five of them. That shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
you
mean,
didn't
the
even
team has
mention.
some.
Go
Wait,
ahead,
you go, Pathorn. You go, Pathorn. No, you go, Pathorn. I'll go after you.
Nah, but like, and they might have to liquidate a couple of those guys because they have so many bigs. Like
Ooh.
um,
Yeah.
but at the same time, if they get a guard, that's it. Especially one like Simons, who's out there, and really, Portland should have traded him last year.
Right.
Now, if you look at what's happening in the league right now, there's no more middle class. You know what I'm saying? Like guys, they a guy that I would have loved the Nets to get, Tyus Jones.
Oh,
He went to Phoenix,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
may have saved Phoenix. You
for
know?
nothing. 3 mil? That shit was crazy. I was like, yo, how
Right?
in the fuck would.
A guy.
Yeah, somebody should have signed Tyus Jones just to stop him from actually going over there.
Yeah, Washington. Like they
Well, we
just
don't.
so used to tanking now, man.
We
Crazy.
don't have their pick. So the Suns pick. So I don't care anymore. But the thing
Sucks for
that
Houston.
that's their business. But Tyus Jones is going to help them. It's going to help them, but not more than Anthony Simons will help Orlando. Like Orlando was a very good team without a point guard, and even the kid they drafted was better than everything they had. So if they could get a professional fringe all-star like that kid, and Portland has to. Portland can't be getting in the luxury.
I'll tell you
tax for
this:
all these guys.
I could see Brooklyn sign Tyus Jones next year. I mean, I don't think the Suns have cap space to re-sign Tyus. Like Tyus has a really good season with the Suns. The Nets could sign him with cap space, and he could be our point guard next year, which wouldn't be a bad move. I mean, if the Nets want to try to compete a little
You're
bit,
gonna pair him up with Kim Thomas? Come on.
Tyus has the
Not doing that.
playmaking though. Tyus has playmaking though, and he's a
Don't.
gamer. Like
Yeah,
he
we're
would help
gonna get
that team.
annihilated. We're gonna get annihilated, man. Come on.
Well, we're
We're not
still
doing
competing for another draft pick, so it's not the worst of a worst decision. You need to add vets to the long term of that team too. You know, it's like playing chess, man.
If Sean Marks really likes Cam Thomas, he'll draft Dylan Harper.
Ooh, that's a good
Dylan Harper
point.
is a bigger guard. He plays defense. He's got a high court IQ. He could run an NBA offense. He has that pedigree. If they really like Cam Thomas, they were like Cam Thomas is the future. They draft Dylan Harper.
I'm with that too. I'm watching Dylan Harper today.
Mhm.
He's a complete player already. Like I think he's the most complete. Like
yeah.
other guys may have higher upsides, but he's ready right now. Like he's the most.
He's
ready.
a dog too.
He might push
got that
Thomas
dog
out
mentality.
the team, man. Let's rewind that for a second. He might push Thomas like to the bench, maybe out this team, because if he can be the point guard, the playmaker, and a great scorer, it's almost like, okay, who do we pair with him now? Like that, I think that would add even more pressure to Thomas on this team because he's going to have to adapt even more to Harper's style of play.
If everything works, John, Cam Thomas won't be the starter. If everything works out, if they have some luck, or the NBA kind of helps them out, Cam Thomas will be out.
I'll be right back, guys.
After these next 2 years.
That's a possibility. Yeah, but that's a possibility. That's hypothetical. Right now, we gotta see what's up. I hear echo. Hello?
Yeah, is there an echo?
No, for a little bit, but right now it's gone. I think everybody left. It's quiet.
No, Jonathan is back. Let me wrap this up anyway. Let me get some sleep. So let me wrap this up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe and definitely share the video. When you share, the universe shares back with you. Great stream tonight, man. Anybody in the chat? Oh, everybody in the chat, drop a like on the video. All right, so peace out.